Excited to add Oladapo and Monk to the equation. Two very good football players, good guys. Monk, we see as an interior offensive lineman, guard, center, swing, quick, strong, elite wiring. When you talk to the people at the school there, two-time captain, alpha, all the things you want, and a guy like that. And Oladapo, same. Played a lot of football. Smart kid, very versatile player. So I'll turn it over to you guys with any questions.
John Eric, did you guys pay attention to anything besides safeties at the Senior Bowl?
It doesn't seem like it, does it? Obviously we're always looking at everything. The thing we keep talking about is competition. I think competition's good, or we think competition is good for everyone. Those guys that we added are versatile pieces. We feel like Bullard can play nickel and safety. We feel like Williams has that flexibility, and Oladapo is probably more of a true safety, but he can play the whatever you want to coin it, big nickel, will backer. So those guys are all movable pieces. The thing that we liked about all of them is they have a very, very aggressive play style. They'll get off the spot and come get it, and that's something that was attractive to us. So yeah, we're glad to add them to the room. They're the right kind of guys to put in the locker room. This game's very important to them. It means something. Excuse me. And just glad to add them to the equation.
That versatility go kind of hand in hand with competition, being able to have guys that can compete not just in place, but a lot of different places.
Sure. This game is a war of attrition at times. You're going to have injuries. Whether it's at the nickel or the safety, to have guys that can go in and play multiple spots, it helps the coaching staff, you get those movable pieces and you can plug guys in and get your best 4, 5, 6, whatever package you're in on the field. I think it's, a lot like in life, certainly in this game, the more you can do, it just increases your value. So it's definitely part of the equation when we looked at those guys in terms of how we viewed them and their value for us on the board.
You guys completely basically overhauled the safety position. I mean, guys that played 500+ snaps last year are gone. What do you think that does for you guys, and what's that going to be like, just acclimating all those new guys?
Sure, it'll help having X in there. He's going to obviously lead that room. He's an elite player, and then we're going to throw those guys into the mix, and the best players will play. We're excited about the other guys. Just the secondary in general, even the guys coming back. I think competition is always going to bring out the best in everybody. We got a good core. Stokes is getting healthy. Jair's back there. You know, obviously the safeties that we just added, X being part of that equation. It's a really good group back there. You got some, you know, a mix of some vets, a mix of young, but we're excited to see what it's going to look like and where it's going to go. You know, I think DA and Half and those guys that were part of this process did an excellent job. Our area scouts did an excellent job of helping us kind of identify those guys, and everybody just kind of collaboratively coming together and making this thing happen. So at the end of the day, they got to show up and play. You know, everybody loves them today, but we feel pretty good about them doing that.
With Monk, I know he started some at right tackle. Can he help out on the edge in a pinch, or do you see him more as an interior guy?
I mean, in a pinch, yes, but I think he's a guard center swing. You know, we definitely feel like he can play in there. He's quick, very quick, strong, aggressive play style, excellent motor. You know, gets after it. You know, he's a snap to whistle kind of guy. Like I said, his play style and the way they talk about him, his wiring. You know, I mean, he's an elite guy. He's a leader. I mean, he kind of sets the tone at that program. Guys follow him, and I think that kind of oozes out on his film when you watch it. I mean, this guy's getting after it, and he's out there to win.
What does it say about a guy who played 2-3 positions over the course of the game? It's not, you know, like some of those guys have played a season here, then a season there, but he did it all, you know, in a short span.
Sure. I mean, I think it tells you, one, he's very intelligent. You know, Duke, you know, connect the dots there, but he's smart. You know, and I think also he can handle the pressure. You know, I think anytime you're adding guys to the equation, you want to make sure that they can adjust in the moment. It's kind of what we're talking about with the versatility. If you're a versatile piece, you got to be able to handle it from a physical skill set, trait standpoint, but you got to also be able to handle it between the ears, and I think he's done that.
John Eric, the NFL's about competition, I understand that, but it seems like there's been an intensification of that here. Goody talks about it a ton. You got so many young guys. You got the wide receiver position where guys have people nipping at their heels.
Right.
Is there a different dynamic? Is there a greater intensity or focus on that? Because you guys are talking about it a hell of a lot.
I think it's been something that we've always tried to do. I think maybe it's come to fruition with who we've added here over the last couple drafts. I think, again, that's a testament to our area scouts doing the work on these, you know, it's one thing to set the board from, hey, this is this guy's talent level, this is his skill set. But our guys go into the school and they talk to 5, 6, 7 different people trying to figure out who you're investing in, what are they made of. And we've invested in some guys that are made of the right stuff the last couple years, and they're not okay sitting over there. You know, comfort in this game is your greatest enemy. None of these guys are comfortable. You know, that wide receiver room, nobody's cool. They all support each other, but everybody wants to be out there making plays. And when their time comes, they feel like they're the guy to make it. So yes, you know, that is something that we've tried to focus on. Again, testament to Matt, his staff, certainly Goody, our personnel staff, and just getting the right guys in the equation, and then making sure we're developing them as they're here.
Would you rather be one of the 5 youngest teams in the league year in and year out, or is that just something to go through as you're building a roster?
You know, I think it's a young man's game. I certainly think you want to avoid getting old, you know. But I think it's nice to have a mix of vets and youth. I think it's an ebb and flow, right? It just kind of depends where you are contractually with other guys. But I think we do put an emphasis on staying young. You know, we went through a couple years ago. We were aging. I think you could see that. You gotta factor that in your practice week. It takes guys longer to recover, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a young man's game. I think anybody that has been in this business will tell you that. But you know, I don't think you want 52 rookies out there either. You know what I mean? You got to have some vets to lead and bring that presence and kind of take them through the fire. So I think it's a nice balance.
How do you scout versatility? I mean, some of these guys, Monk and Bullard, they played different spots in college, so I'm sure you can see that. But Morgan's a college left tackle, and you feel like he can play pretty much anywhere. Is that a traits thing? Like, how do you scout that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Morgan specifically, I think you're looking at the traits. The first thing you're looking at how he's built. He's got big, thick calves. He's got big thighs. He's through his core. I mean, he's put together. So he certainly looks like substantially he can handle playing inside if that's what you want to do. He can bend. He can play with leverage. So you're like, okay, if you want to kick him to guard, now he's a big man. He can bend. He can sink. He's going to have feet to adjust. You see that out there at tackle. So yeah, it's a traits thing. You're just kind of piecing it together. Are there any guarantees? No, but we feel pretty good about it. And then, like you said, with those other guys, we've seen them do it. Bullard's lined up at nickel. He's played safety. With Williams in particular, he's played more safety. I think especially at the Senior Bowl down there, you watched him pedal and change directions and do those kind of things. I mean, he was a very, very efficient mover in short space, which is what you would like your nickel to be. So we felt pretty good about that. That's kind of more in line with Morgan. You're looking at the traits saying, I think he can do it. He's smart. And, those nickels in today's game, you got to play the pass, but you got to be willing to come up and put your face on somebody too. And he does that. Any game you put on, I mean, he's coming downhill, and I mean, he enjoys that part of the game. So we felt pretty good about it.
John, Eric, this is probably a weird question, but did you guys know that Monk was allergic to cold water before?
I heard about that. Not a concern for us. I think there's probably some humor in that, but yeah, he will just make sure he doesn't go ice fishing.
John, Eric, Sam Seale was down here a little while ago, and he was joking that it's been like 8 years since he's talked to us.
Right.
He's been here forever, obviously found some really good Hall of Fame players.
Sure.
What has he just meant to you and the organization behind the scenes, you think?
Sam's the best. He's a guy that played. Make me get emotional talking about Sam. I didn't see that one coming. Sorry. He's the best. He played this game forever. He's such a leader for our group. The way he goes about his business. At this stage in his career, he's seen, not heard. He didn't come in the room. He's not the loudest one. But when you ask him, if Sam says the kid can play, you better pay attention. He's become a dear, dear friend of mine. He's been with Goody for 20 plus years. I can't say enough good things about Sam. He's a stud, a lot of different ways.
I don't think, back to football, so you can compose yourself a little bit.
Sorry.
That's all right. How fast do you think your defense is going to be this season? It seems like a common trait, what you've drafted, and Brian talked about it last night, and you said it's a young man's game. Why is it also becoming a speed game, at least on that side of the ball?
It's a passing league. I think you got to be able to play in space. You look at even like the body types, how they've changed. The inside backer used to be a square, thick neck, come downhill, put your face on people in the A gap. Now it's it's what we got. It's Quay, it's Cooper. It's these guys that are 6'2", they're more linear, they're long, they can run, play in space and do the things you got to do to survive. So, I would think that's part of it. It's just the game spread out. You got to be able to get from point A to B. So, yeah, I think that's part of it. I think our defense will be fast. Quay can run. Cooper, that's one of the main things that attracted you to him. His speed is different. When he hits the gas and he's running things down, there's a whoa factor to that. I would, Devontae Wyatt's going to, I think he's going to thrive in this defense where you can kind of just pin your ears back, get off the ball. That's what he was at Georgia. Quick, work edges, penetrate, disrupt. I think there's a bunch of guys that are going to kind of benefit from what we're doing. But I think our team speed will be good.
I don't want to overstate this, but when you talk about the competition coming to fruition more, when you look at the youth, the versatility, how many big draft classes you guys have brought in these past few years, is there a feeling that this camp could be as competitive as you guys have seen, just because of all those factors coming in together?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet. I think you look at the different position groupings and kind of who's in that room, from linebacker to receiver to, now the secondary. I think you got to feel pretty good about that. There's going to be some pretty good competition in every room. And the other part of that, I think we drafted a bunch of guys that are for each other. Whether they win that starting role or they're coming in second, I think these are all good team guys, and it'll be a good chemistry. And when their time comes, whether they're first out there or second, they'll be ready to roll.
Eric, are you, I know you got some more picks to go still, but when you look at what you've done so far, it looks like you've managed to fill some needs without reaching to pick guys at those positions. Do you feel good about how you've kind of gone about filling those holes? And were you one of the ones that talked Goody down from wanting to trade up a couple times? Yesterday, he said that he was tempted, and you guys told him to wait for the board.
Yeah, you know what? Goody knows what he's doing. He doesn't need anybody to talk him down, but yeah, we do. We feel good about that. We've kind of, we accumulated picks. There weren't, we just had one big long stretch, but for the most part, we had picks throughout, and yeah, I kind of like how it fell and like what we did to acquire the players we acquired, but yet also accumulate. I think we were, pretty poised throughout.
Thank you.
Thank you.